3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
Welcome back to TTMTrades, aka To the Moon. First and foremost, I'm super hyped. I got 51 subscribers. I dearly cherish y'all, 51 of my subscribers. So I just want to thank you all. Halfway to 100, and we're gonna keep working our way there. Last couple videos I posted was on MYO, my top 3 for the week, AMRS, and ticker NETE. But stock twits. First and foremost, I want to thank all my new followers, 504 followers total now. As we scroll down, I appreciate everybody, and hopefully I am adding value to each and every last one of your trades. Alright, so let's get to it. Today we're going to be talking about ticker MYO. Only up 2 cents through the day, kind of fluctuated back and forth, but there's a lot of confusion on whether or not this trend is going to continue and or will there be a pullback. Me personally, I believe there will be a pullback. And let's go to the chart and let's see why. So the last video I did on on MYO, excuse me. I alerted MYO back. When did I alert MYO? I gave everybody the heads up on this one a while back. Probably should have had the chart already pulled up. So yeah, I alerted this one. Man, it's a while ago. When I first started seeing this setup is when I gave everybody the heads up that I knew this thing was gonna run. Is this it? Here we go. Back on December 6th, ticker MYO. Ever since then, it's been $1.23 gain. I alerted it back when it was at $2.87, and it's gotten all the way up to what did it all the way up to? $4.46, and now we're here. Okay, so. Looking at it, if you haven't seen my last video, click the link. It's going to pop up in one of these corners. Click the link and watch my last video. So what we have going now. So we had a nice uptrend, and we reached a high of 446. Had a nice doji up here, candlestick. And now that shows indecision both between bulls and bears. And then right here we have a nice hammer, this long wick right here, with the bulls coming back in control, accumulating shares and closing it right above its open at 405. Okay. Now, reason why I think there may be a pullback. Reason being is, as I said in my last video, if you all seen it, every time when you're in an uptrend, every time you create a higher high, you always want to see a higher high happen on higher volume. So anytime you're creating higher highs, your volume should be like a step ladder. It should steadily increase with each higher high. Okay, so as we created each higher high, as you can see, then we had a slight pullback here. This pullback was on below average volume. As you can see, this line right here, the volume was below average volume. Okay, so nothing to be worried about. And I alerted that in my last video. So then I said the following day we should have a breakout above this resistance line of 378. And when we have the breakout, we should have it on high volume, higher than this session right here. So the following day we had the breakout, which was good. But the bad part about it was it wasn't on high volume. It was above average, but it wasn't on high volume. It wasn't like a step ladder to where we can just keep climbing with the volume increasing. Every time the volume increases on higher highs, that means there are people buying into the stock as it rises, and they're supporting those new highs that it's creating, and they're holding in those areas and supporting the new highs. Anytime you have a new high and the volume doesn't follow with it, then that tells people who short stocks and or bears who play the other side of the table that the buyers are not too sure about these new prices in this area. And as you can see, what happened the next day was the bears and the shorts and everybody else got a whiff of that with this volume right here, and we formed a high 446, but a lot of selling came into play, and there was a lot of indecision, and it closed right in the middle of it. Now the very next day, when you have a doji, the next day will confirm whether or not who's in control, the bulls or the bears. Either you'll have another high on the crease volume to overdo what the bears and sellers tried to do the previous day, and or you'll have a lower low. So what happened here is we did not make a higher high, we made a lower high, and we also created a lower low. Even though we created this lower low down to 358, and the bulls came in and accumulated the shares, pushing back up close at 413. Again, you have to be mindful of that volume. Is not on high volume, it's below average volume. So that tells you a lot of buyers did not come in to support the current prices in which it's at. They supported this dip down here to 358, but they didn't support this $4 range, mind you, while the volume is below average. So what I see happening is this is going to open up and drop tomorrow to retest this 358 or somewhere down in that area, and if we don't have a large spike in volume, then I see us dropping to but dropping back down to that 330 range where the large spike in volume was at, which is back in this area where we had the volume to support the move. So everyone who bought in this area on this high volume is holding this stock. So when it drops back down, it'll be hard to accumulate shares in this general area due to the high volume of buyers, and they're all sitting there holding their shares. So I believe we'll drop back down to this general area. There won't be a lot of shares to accumulate due to everybody buying that position and holding it, and then this will spike back up and we will continue to trend. Now, to my RSI. Everybody knows I keep a simple 10-period moving average with a weighted 30-period moving average. All right, so anytime we break above our 10-period average, the goal line, like I said, we found support, had a nice bounce. All right, as you can see, we had a lower low, higher high, higher low, higher high. I will say a higher low, and then we had another break of a higher high. This is what I see happening now is this may dip down, and we may even break this low right here to come back down and find support on that 10-period moving average. If that does happen, then that will also confirm what I'm seeing on my slow stochastic, as we're showing the momentum is in a overbought state and is starting to descend. As you can see, we're starting to get the crossover for this to come back down. Now let's go to the intraday and get a better visual of what's going on as far as the intraday traders. Alright, going in on the intraday, as you can see on the 2-hour time frame, which is where I make my entries. As you see here, we hit that high of 446, and we have a bunch of candle wicks. 446 is now the resistance. We have a bunch of candle wicks, upper candle wicks that buyers push up, and it gets pushed back down by sellers, and then sellers actually forced it back down here. Buyers pushing the candlestick back up, sellers forcing it down. They're pushing it back up, sellers forcing it back down, pushing it back up, sellers forcing it back down. So literally there's not a lot of people convinced of this price range of 413 to 446. There aren't a lot of buyers who are coming in and supporting this general price range, and sellers are beginning to notice that in the bears. So now people are going to start packing onto this, and the people who see this as moving up, creating higher highs, they're going to start selling and taking profits. When that happens, that's going to cause the stock to begin to drop, which will cause others to maybe panic sell, and then it's going to cause a couple people to ride this wave down as far as shorting, if they can find shares to short. That also correlates with what I'm seeing with my RSI. My RSI found support on that 30-period moving average, and it tried to break back above the 10, but it's just below it. It's having trouble breaking back above it. And it's leading me to believe, and again, the price range in this general area, if we're just looking at pure price action from the $4 range up to 446, the accumulation is below average volume. As you can see this line, there's no spikes in volume, which means buyers aren't accumulating shares in this general area. So what I see happening, like I said, I see this may consolidate for a little minute and probably drop back down to the 369 range. That's the immediate support. And if that doesn't hold, come back down to the 336 area, which I believe it'll come back down to 336. And again, you'll see a bunch of buyers jump back in this general price range where the interest is at, and then push this way back up, which isn't bad because we have a low here, a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now we need to create a higher low, which would be this 369 or more than likely 336. Okay, and then once we create that higher low, we'll trend back up to begin our next leg up and create a higher high. So for those who are in it long, the stock is going to definitely continue. Some of the price targets I have as far as the weekly, some immediate points is the 487 mark right here, and then 638. These are the areas of resistance I'm looking at to potentially take profit. I think for the week, we'll finish out as a doji right here with accumulation. Next week we'll drop down to test that 335, and then we'll get a lot of accumulation. Then we'll push up to that 487 range, and may even push up into that 638 range. And that's what I'm seeing on the weekly. But as far as this week, I think we've already hit our high of 446. Me personally, I got in at 312 and I took profit at 410. I'm looking to make my entry back around that 336 area as I showed in the intraday chart, and then route this back up and go long so we can possibly retest that 486 $6 range, and then push back up to this $11-12 range. But that's my technical analysis. Hopefully this helped a couple of you. TTMTrades, if I'm adding a value to your trades and or you learned something today, please subscribe and follow, leave a comment, like, reshare, and let's make money together to the moon.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.